Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well today. In this video, we're going to be covering Evmos. With its launch around the corner, I figured it'd be a good time to get you guys prepared because in the current environment, we don't have much engagement, which presents opportunity for people that are looking to extract fat yield because we already have a bunch of projects that are lined up and ready to deploy on Evmos as soon as it goes live. You can think of it as an intermediary between Ethereum, all the L1s that are EVM compatible, and the Cosmos ecosystem. So this means chains like Phantom, Avalanche, Harmony can now integrate assets onto Cosmos IBC ecosystem through Evmos. And if you want to learn about the airdrops and the strategies that I'm looking at, then make sure to watch the video in its entirety. Also, if you wanted some of the alpha ahead of time before I publish these videos, then I would strongly suggest that you join my Discord. Over the last year, a community of DeFi degens, people that are interested in trading, NFTs, GameFi have all coalesced around my Discord. So if you're interested in those themes, just click the link in the description below to join my Discord. With the introduction out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into this video. So originally they were supposed to launch a couple months back. They had some issues and they ended up delaying the launch. So they moved the launch date to the 26th and it looks like they're going to be delayed again. Now you could take this two ways. Number one, maybe you're a little bit on the fence now because you're thinking, well, if they're having so many issues, how safe are my funds going to be? Or maybe you're thinking that this team is doing its due diligence and they're doing everything in their power to make sure there's absolutely zero issues on launch. Personally, I feel like there's a segment of DeFi farmers out there who have been itching for an opportunity, and given the scarcity of opportunities out there, you have all of this money on the sideline that's eagerly looking for a place to be deployed, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to attract a decent amount of TVL. And don't forget, this TVL is going to come from one of the EVM chains out there like Ethereum, Phantom, Harmony, Avalanche. And given that there aren't many opportunities out there, there's a good chance that you're going to see a flow of capital from those EVM chains onto Evmos. And even on Cosmos, we've seen the volume go down significantly over the last month. And if you look at the TVL, people have been exiting. And so because of the reasons I just outlined, I think there's a good possibility that all of these guys on Terra, Cosmos, Osmosis, they're also going to be pursuing the yield farming opportunities on Evmos. Do I think this yield farming opportunity is going to blow up like we've seen on other L1s? Probably not, given the sentiment and the fact that a lot of people who had disposable income lost a significant portion of it last year. And in fact, there's a lot of people out there who just got cleaned out in hacks and rugs. For example, I personally know of somebody that had $27 million, and because of the market chop and the fact that we had so many assets out there go down 90%, he went from having a net worth of $27 million all the way down to $1 million. Now, with that being said, let me give you guys a brief introduction to Evmos. Evmos, like I mentioned before, enables integrating EVM compatible chains to Cosmos. This means that chains like Phantom, Avalanche, and Harmony can now integrate assets to Cosmos IBC ecosystem through Evmos. That means EVM-based decentralized applications, tokens, NFTs can now be bridged to Cosmos and vice versa. Now, before I move on, I do want to give people credit for the work that they've done. So everything that I'm using as a resource today can be found in the description below. So make sure you check out those links because we have a lot of new people that are publishing high quality content. And I want to make sure that they not only get the credit that they deserve, but they're also recognized for their work. And I strongly urge you guys, if you like what you're reading here, to go ahead and subscribe to their respective newsletters. And here's a bit of history that a lot of you guys are probably unaware of, and that's that Evmos was brought to life in 2016. It was dubbed Ethermint. The goal of Ethermint was to bring Tendermint's consensus protocol to Ethereum. This was realized through rollups such as Arbitrum, amongst others. Thus, there was no longer a value proposition for the original Ethermint. And as a result, the team responsible for Evmos decided to work on their new vision, a highly secure, fast finality EVM-based chain on Cosmos that could provide interoperability and greater composability for smart contracts between IBC and Ethereum. And in case you guys didn't know, EVM stands for Virtual Machine for Ethereum, which enables developers to build and create decentralized applications that work on Ethereum and Ethereum-like chains. And what I learned and what I thought was super interesting is that Evmos plans to support the development of application-specific chains that utilize Ethermint library, which is the scalable and interoperable Ethereum library that can create POS chains with fast finality using the Cosmos SDK. So in a sense, it's kind of like subnets on Avalanche, except in this case, you're not going to be able to use just any virtual machine. You're going to be limited to EVM, which is pretty cool because it means that other applications like Aave, for example, can launch on their own chain with their own token and validator set. Now that I've given you guys a brief introduction, let's cover the tokenomics. Currently, no VCs have been given Evmos tokens, which is great if you're a farmer because you don't have to worry about VC dumping on you while you're farming. However, there are people running validators that are earning yield, which could technically be dumped on the market. Now, the initial supply is going to be 200 million, and half of that is going to be given out in the form of airdrops, which I'll cover in the last segment of my video. 20 million is going to the DAO treasury, and 80 million is going to be used as a strategic reserve. In the beginning, at least for the first year, the inflation rate is going to be the highest. And this is part of the reason I suspect that the token has a good chance of going up, because the float is going to be relatively low, and so you won't need as much bidding power to send the price higher. Now, after the first year, they're going to implement an exponential decay schedule with the inflation level decreasing every year. The target is to issue 1 billion tokens over the course of 4 years. Now, when it comes to a new token issuance, 40% of that is going to be given out as staking rewards, 25% is allocated to team vesting, 25% for usage incentives, so basically giving it out to a dedicated pool in the form of yield farming rewards, and 10% is going to be allocated to a community pool. Now, the objective is to basically create a flywheel in which the validators vote to incentivize more growth. This results in more users that are using the Evmos token, and with more users that are attracted to the ecosystem, all that spending, at least a portion of it, goes to the devs and the validators, and this hopefully creates the flywheel effect that you see here. And I think this is going to become a part of a broader trend because unlike in the past where projects will indiscriminately give out tokens to themselves, the pools, moving forward, teams have to be a lot more cognizant of tokenomics, especially in the current market environment, because if they end up giving too many rewards to market participants or the team or VC, there's a good chance that their token will dump very rapidly. And when that happens, they get stuck because if they want to incentivize the pools, they have to issue more tokens, which results in more dumping. And once you're in that hole, it's really tough for teams to dig themselves out. Kind of witnessing that with Osmosis. The token is now worth $4.80, and as a result, a lot of people have been taking their liquidity out because they don't want to lose their principal, because the yield that they're earning, despite it being very fat and lucrative, is not enough to offset the principal loss that they're experiencing. If you want to look at a project in a longer time frame, look at Cake. When we had that retail mania, we saw it go up significantly, and then when the market bounced back during the summer, you can see that it never went back to reclaim the previous highs, and since then it's been on a downtrend. Now, after watching those first two segments, if you're still interested in farming on Evmos, I'm going to introduce you guys to a few protocols that should be launching relatively soon. Now, out of all the protocols that I'm going to introduce to you guys today, Aave is probably one of the safest ones. With this project, I feel like you have a 0% of them rugging you. They're deployed on a lot of different chains. They're very reputable, but the rewards as a result are probably going to be diluted because most people generally feel safe with Aave. So if they offer yields that are slightly above market average, I'm pretty confident that they're going to get a huge surge in TVL. Now, if you're open to taking on more risk, the first money market on Evmos is going to be Costlin. Now, they haven't proven themselves yet, but given that they're new and they're going to have their own token, the yield is going to be pretty high here because market participants will be somewhat hesitant to deploy their capitals, so they won't be deploying a large amount. And since they have their own token, they should be able to subsidize the yields much more so than, let's say, Aave. Next up, we have SpaceFi, which is a DEX. They have an NFT component, and Starter probably is a reference to a potential launchpad. Moving along, we have Kronos Finance. This is another automated market maker. In fact, there's actually 5 initial DEXs that are going to be launching on Evmos. My guess is that many of them will go to shit, unless of course they're able to attract a lot of TVL early on, or if they, let's say, have a focus, like they're only supporting stablecoins. Next up, we have XSwap, which is another automated market maker. Now, these DEXs that are launching, they'll have to figure out a way to distinguish themselves because the competition is going to be very fierce. So I hope they're working on their tokenomics like some of the other projects that I introduced you guys, because they have to find a way to discourage people from dumping. And secondly, they should also work on bringing a lot of feature richness. For example, if any of these projects figure out a way for people to use their Keplr wallet, it'll reduce some of the rigidity and potentially give them a competitive edge, because now you have Cosmos people that can easily use their wallet on one of these dApps versus sending their assets to their MetaMask wallet first. Because initially, most of these platforms are only going to support the MetaMask wallet. Now, this platform I haven't really dug into just yet, but I plan to. It's interesting. They're going to have an NFT market, and they're working on a play-to-earn game. Next up, we have Kinesis Lab. You could probably call this the curve of Evmos because they're going to focus on stablecoin swaps. Now, this team is super ambitious. They aim to bring $100 billion of stablecoins onto Cosmos, and they're going to be supporting USDC, USDT, DAI, and Frax. And Frax, by the way, is also coming to the Cosmos ecosystem. So now you'll have two algo stablecoins on Cosmos, UST and Frax. Now, like I said before, if Evmos is successful in increasing their TVL substantially, you're going to see many more protocols launch on Evmos. And if you guys are interested in learning about those protocols early on, number one, you should definitely join my Discord. But number two, you could also give me a follow on Twitter. All right, to end the video, we're going to cover strategies and airdrops. Now, the number one strategy to yield farming these days is to be early. That's like the biggest edge you have in the market these days, because the people who have survived until today, some of the more savvy yield farmers, and because of the market conditions, these savvy yield farmers are very quick to dump their tokens, which means you typically have a very short window to yield farm in their most risky pairs to extract the fattest yield before the protocol's token gets dumped, and anybody yield farming the riskiest pairs get hit pretty hard. And also, as the farmed token falls in value, it means the yields across the pools will also go down. So make sure you're early as possible to all of these yield farming opportunities. Now, the first thing you want to do is find the DEX, look for the first everything, because there's a good chance that that protocol's respective token will appreciate significantly in the first couple days. And what I like to do is I'll buy into it and I'll try to flip it for a quick 2x and let the rest of my money ride risk-free. And thirdly, you want to look for pools that are launching on Osmosis, because now after Evmos, you're going to see ERC20 assets in Osmosis pools. And also you're going to see Cosmos ecosystem assets on Evmos. And so if you see the proliferation of a certain token in many pools, there's a decent chance that token price will go up. Personally, I'm going to be focused on watching the price of Osmo. It's taken a huge hit, but if we see some ERC20 tokens added to Osmosis with a respectable yield, it could drive some demand for the Osmo token. And also don't forget, you're going to see many Osmo-based pairs on protocols that are launching on Evmos. And like I said, you want to be early, so keep track of new launches, which you can do by following all the projects that you see launching on Evmos. Follow influencers who are giving alpha. If you know how to code, use a bot to scrape keywords, and join a Discord group or an alpha group like my Discord, for example, because oftentimes some of the best opportunities that I come across come from groups that I'm personally a part of. I think it's a good idea to stake some Osmo and Atom tokens. I actually have them staked, and if we don't know what the minimum requirements are, so I've gone ahead and staked about 100 of each. And even though a lot of people are likely to dove Evmos early on, I'm going to allocate a portion to staking and just simply compound those rewards, because I have a feeling that in the future, if new protocols are going to be launching on Evmos and Evmos does become a significant player in the entire ecosystem, the new projects undoubtedly will give the heaviest allocation to Evmos stakers. Now, in terms of airdrops, the first airdrop that you want to take advantage of is obviously the Evmos airdrop. Once their network isn't having any issues anymore, come here to app.evmos.org/emission control, connect your Keplr wallet and also your MetaMask wallet afterwards to see how many tokens you're going to be airdropped. And secondly, most of these projects, like I mentioned earlier, that are launching on Evmos, they're going to be doing airdrops. So what I would do is follow all of these projects on Twitter. This way, when they publish new information regarding their airdrop, you'll be quick to learn of it and take advantage of it. And my guess is that many people are probably going to sell a portion of their airdrop to lock in the profits. And then the remaining portion, I'm confident that most of these tokens that are airdropped, there's going to be liquidity mining opportunities for them. So in other words, you'll be able to earn a yield on these tokens. Well, that pretty much wraps up the video. If you guys enjoyed the content, don't forget to give me a like. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel for more content. And if you guys wanted to support the work that I do offer a Patreon service. And through the Patreon service, you'll get a free subscription to my newsletter, plus access to my private Discord channels. And even if you sign up for the lowest tier for just $20 a month, you'll get all of that. And if you're interested in having some dialogue with me, then you could sign up for one of the higher tiers. So if you think you would find value in any of these services, make sure you guys go ahead and click my Patreon link in the description below. With that being said, this is CryptoOneStop signing out. I'll talk to you folks next time. Bye.